We have studied in detail about that second molecule, pyridine. Now let us see next heterocyclic compound, quinoline. Okay, this is the structure of quinoline. Yes, it is condensed heterocycle. Why it is condensed heterocycle? Because pyridine ring is condensed with benzene. Pyridine is condensed with benzene, hence that compound is called condensed heterocycle. And quinoline is bicyclic nitrogen containing heterocycle in which pyridine ring is condensed with benzene. Okay, this is found in coal tar and can be isolated from that coal tar. Now we are going to discuss one simple method for the synthesis of quinoline, and this is very well-known method called as Skraup synthesis. In this reaction, when that aniline is created with the glycerol, that reaction is carried out in presence of concentrated H2SO4, then nitrobenzene, and also in presence of FeSO4, ferrous sulfate, and reaction is carried out at high temperature. In this reaction, we get quinoline. Means we get bicyclic condensed nitrogen heterocycle quinoline. But here, what is the role of concentrated H2SO4? Here, concentrated sulfuric acid act as a dehydrating agent. Then we are using nitrobenzene. This nitrobenzene act as an oxidizing agent. And why there is use of ferrous sulfate? This reaction is exothermic and violent, and therefore to slow down the reaction we are using FeSO4. Okay, this is just a rule of that three reagents which are used. Okay, and thus aniline, when it reacted with the glycerol in presence of concentrated H2SO4, then nitrobenzene and ferrous sulfate at high temperature, we get quinoline, and reaction is called Skraup synthesis. Now let us see mechanism of the reaction. Means we are going to discuss how that aniline and glycerol converts into quinoline, which steps are involved in the reaction, which intermediates are formed during the reaction, then how the bonds undergo breaking and how the new bonds are formed during the reaction, how there is a movement of electron takes place during the reaction, and thus we are going to discuss detailed information regarding the particular chemical reaction. And this is nothing but the mechanism. Okay, detailed information about the reaction. In the first step, there is a role of glycerol. Okay, glycerol react with the concentrated H2SO4. We know that this concentrated sulfuric acid act as a dehydrating agent. This is well-known dehydrating agent. It causes dehydration of alcohol. Means there is a loss of water molecule takes place. Now, how actually dehydration occurs? In this reaction, in the first step, two molecules of water are removed. First molecule OH and this hydrogen atom, means there is a loss of one H2 molecule. Double bond appears in between that two carbon. Similarly, then second OH group, this OH and one of the hydrogen atom. Here one of the hydrogen atom from the CH2, it loses again H2O. Thus there is a loss of two water molecule, and we get intermediate here CH2, double bond, carbon, again double bond CH, because there is a loss of one hydrogen from that carbon. Okay, and this OH group as it is. Okay, thus when glycerol is reacted with the concentrated sulfuric acid act as a dehydrating agent. It causes dehydration of glycerol. There is a loss of two water molecule, and we get this particular intermediate. But this intermediate can be easily undergo some delocalization. There is a tautomerism, and we get the compound. Now what is the compound? This is CHO group. Means this is nothing but the aldehyde group, and that intermediate is called acrolein. Name of this compound is acrolein, or it is also called as the Acryla Aldehyde. Okay, this is our first step. Now let us see what is the next step, second step. In the second step, what happens? This is our acrolein. In second step, it reacts with aromatic primary amine. It reacts with the aniline. This is our aniline. Now what is the second step? In second step, that aniline molecule adds to the C double bond C. What happens? One hydrogen atom from the NH2 adds to this carbon atom, while this NH group adds to this carbon, and we get the corresponding compound. And this is product NH, it forms a bond with CH2, and we get this new molecule. This is our new molecule. What should be the name of compound? This compound having CH2, CH2 and CHO, and that aldehyde is called propanol. This is phenyl amino group. And this phenyl amino group is attached to propanol at beta carbon. This is our functional group, right? First carbon is the alpha carbon, second carbon is the beta carbon, and this phenyl amino group is attached to propanol at beta carbon. Hence, name of the compound is the beta phenyl amino propanol. Name of the compound is the beta phenyl amino propanol. Okay, this is our second step. In second step, there is a formation of, yes, beta phenyl amino propanol. Now let us see third step. In the third step, what happens? This is our beta phenyl amino propanol. Now in the third step, what happens? It undergo just tautomerism. Hydrogen atom from the CH2 goes on the oxygen, while this double bond goes in between two carbon atoms. Okay, and we get the tautomeric form. This is actually aldehyde form, and this one is the enol form. That enol form of beta phenyl amino propanol further react with the concentrated sulfuric acid. What is the role of sulfuric acid? Yes, it causes dehydration. Now here also dehydration occurs. Now what happens here? This OH and that hydrogen atom, it loses water molecule, and there is a formation of bond between this carbon and that ortho position, and we get the intermediate. There is a loss of water molecule, and we get corresponding cyclic compound. Now this is cyclic compound. Okay, and thus in the third step, enol form of beta phenyl amino propanol react with the concentrated H2SO4, undergo dehydration and cyclization, and we get the cyclic compound. That cyclic compound is called 1,2-dihydroquinoline. What should be the next step? Okay, this is our 1,2-dihydroquinoline, which is found in the third step. Okay, now this compound undergo oxidation. It reacts with the nitrobenzene. Nitrobenzene causes its oxidation. There is a loss of two hydrogen atom, one from nitrogen and one from that carbon. Okay, and double bond appears in between carbon and nitrogen. There is a removal of two hydrogen atom, and removal of hydrogen means oxidation. Okay, and thus double bond appears in between that nitrogen and carbon, and we get the actually that two hydrogen atom and that nascent oxygen atom from H2O. Okay, and there is a formation of double bond between carbon and nitrogen, and this compound is nothing but our expected product quinoline. Okay, this is just about the Skraup synthesis. We have studied mechanism of Skraup synthesis. I will repeat in short. In the first step, glycerol undergo dehydration. It reacts with the concentrated H2SO4. There is a loss of two water molecule takes place. This OH and hydrogen atom. Here also OH and hydrogen. There is a loss of two water molecule, and we get this particular compound. Here one double bond, here also one double bond. Now it undergoes tautomerism. That hydrogen goes on the carbon and double bond goes in between that carbon and oxygen, and we get the Acryla Aldehyde, or it is called acrolein. This is the first step, formation of acrolein. Now this acrolein further react with the, this is our acrolein, it react with the aniline. Okay, now how the reaction occur? That aniline, that NH2 group adds across the C double bond C. Hydrogen goes on this carbon, while NH adds to this terminal carbon, and there is a formation of corresponding compound, and this particular compound is a beta phenyl amino propanol. Okay, now in the next step, that beta phenyl amino propanol further undergo tautomerism. This is enol form of the same compound. Okay, now this enol form on reaction with concentrated H2SO4 undergo dehydration and cyclization. Means here that ortho position having hydrogen atom, that hydrogen and OH, there is a loss of water molecule, and new bond between that two carbon is formed, and we get corresponding cyclic compound, and this is dihydroquinoline. Okay, 1,2-dihydroquinoline. Now this 1,2-dihydroquinoline further react with the nitrobenzene. Actually nitrobenzene causes oxidation. Okay, this is one nascent oxygen atom. Now that two hydrogens, one from nitrogen and one from carbon, that two hydrogen and one oxygen atom from H2O, double bond appears in between carbon and nitrogen, and we get the corresponding aromatic heterocycle, and this is nothing but our quinoline. Okay, this is just about the Skraup synthesis. We have studied